All right, welcome back to another episode of Sean and Ed's Do Baseball.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Ed's.
And we're bringing you baseball history.
That's right, we're a bi-weekly baseball history podcast where the story catcher straps on the tools of ignorance and doesn't know what the story pitcher is out on the mound throwing them.
And that makes baseball more fun, or baseball history more fun, for sure. It would make baseball more fun, but also a lot more wild pitches.
And much more dangerous, yeah. But yeah, we're here to be interesting, and you've made some implications this week, Sean, that this one might be a little dangerous. So, yeah. Yeah,
well, I'm gonna say this one. You might have had it in the chamber to ask me, but this one's gonna be a fork ball, Edsy.
Ball.
It's going to come out of my hand and just be straight. You're going to say, this is not that interesting. This is a fastball right down the middle, and then it's just going to dive. And you're gonna,
okay, I love the metaphor. I love the metaphor.
Well, I appreciate it. And I love reviews and ratings. So wherever you're listening, however you're listening, thanks for listening. And give us a review, give us a rating. And where can people find us on the internet?
People can find us on the internet, or if you're of a certain vintage, the World Wide Web, at Doing Baseball or at doing.baseball. If you're looking around on your computer, or your phone, or whatever you're perusing the internet with, you can find us at one of those two handles, and they should lead you in the right direction.
100%. Find us, give us a story suggesting, give us some feedback, tell your friends. And while you're at it, on the old World Wide Web, go check out our friends at Two Loons Brewing. You can find them at toloonsbrewing.com. You can find them on Instagram. I believe it is at Two Loons Brewing. They are a fantastic brewery right in the heart of Toronto, West End on Brock Avenue. They got a couple delicious beers that pair very well with baseball and summertime. They got some clothes. They got a little brew pub and a place you can buy, a place you can drink, and you can always find them at your local LCBO beer store or watering hole. And of course,
please be of legal drinking age and enjoy responsibly.
All right. I am going to crack one. And I know you're not much of a drinker, Edsy, but you might need something stronger than a beer.
Okay.
After this one.
You don't know what's in this cup. It's water, but
that's true. You should have left it mysterious. You should have been mysterious about it.
Nah. I'm straight up.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while since I've seen you drink a glass of whiskey like that.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say, Edsy, I waited, and you know, listeners, we don't talk about our personal life, but Edsy's a new dad as of about 3 months ago, and let's just say I waited for you to be a dad before I told you this one, and gave you a little buffer zone to settle in emotionally.
I am horrified already.
Oh God. Well, I'm going to start actually by just a little bit of a major digression here. Have you heard of who we're talking about today? Don Wilson.
I mean, perhaps I have, but the name, it's not ringing any bells, and I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it's a pretty common name, right? Don Wilson, Donald Wilson.
I've probably met a person named Don Wilson at some point in my life.
Sure. And, researching this wasn't that difficult. I got to shout out Sabre, Seamheads, and RIP Baseball for being three anchors to this story. But funny enough, when I was searching the old Google for Donald Wilson, I came across an obituary for another Donald Wilson. This Donald Wilson was from Kingston, Jamaica, and apparently got signed by the Boston Red Sox and went to play for the Grandy Red Sox in Grandy, Quebec.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
But but that's not the one we're talking about.
No, but this guy's very, like, I almost thought I found a second story. I forget the guy, but there was the murdering one, Sam Crane,
Sam
and then there's
Crane.
also the sports writer named Sam Crane.
Yes.
This guy has an interesting story. So he plays, apparently, I couldn't verify any of this other than this one obituary. And he played for Grandy, Quebec, and he fell in love with hockey, and more importantly, women's hockey. And he's a black man from Jamaica, so very interesting. But he went on to pitch for the Indianapolis Clowns and the New York Black Yankees in the Negro Leagues, but his career would end prematurely. A drunk teammate who regularly drank away his pay would bully Wilson to loan him money. And when Donald finally said no, he was attacked by this player on the bus with a baseball bat, breaking both his arms.
Oh my God. What an assault. What a preface.
Yeah. I was like, this is a great story, but this is all I could find on it. So
you're just telling what you know just to kick off this episode, and to not confuse the listeners that this is a separate Don Wilson from our main subject today.
100%.
Okay.
And after reading Donald Wilson's obituary, it seemed like he was a good man who lived a very long life. But we aren't talking about Donald Wilson today. We are talking about former Astros ace Don Wilson, whose career was longer and life was shorter, and his obituary was much, much more complicated.
Okay. I can't wait to hear this.
All right. So Donald Edward Wilson was born in Monroe, Louisiana on February 12th, 1945. But his family left Louisiana shortly after, and they moved to California, settling in Compton. He's from a black family. It doesn't really matter to the story, but actually there is a part where that does come up. And Donald and his older brother Willie played baseball at the local Little League, and then for the Centennial High School Apaches. Don played shortstop and third base, while Willie did most of the pitching. But
okay,
he tells the Washington, D.C. Afro-American how he got his start on the bump in a 1967 interview. Willie was getting tired, so he asked me to pitch a few games to spell him. I did, and I've been hooked on pitching ever since.
Okay. So his brother gets a little tired. He goes in, takes his place, and becomes addicted to pitching.
And it sounds like he was really good right off the start, and scouts were coming to look at him. But he gets injured, I think, in his senior year. And because of that, the teams lose interest in him. And in fact, a scout for the California Angels at the time told him he'd never make it to the big leagues.
Okay. So we're talking early 60s right now, I guess.
Yeah. He was born in
45.
In 45. So, yeah, early 60s. So he rehabs from his injury, and he goes and plays for a local junior college. I think it was like Compton Community College or something like that. And scouts once again notice his strong right arm and his blazing fastball. So he's a power pitcher, right from the get-go. Like, he's fastball slider. He's not a finesse guy. He's going to blow it past you and maybe give you a little bit of a slidery slurve to throw you off every once in a while. But Houston and the Colt 45s, who they were at the time, they end up signing him at 19 years old, and they send him to rookie ball in Florida, where he pitches to an unspectacular 4.18 ERA, but it's a small sample size, 28 innings. He walks 16 in those 28 innings, so not good, but he strikes out 35.
Okay, so he's got the stuff, but he's got a little bit of control issues going on.
100%. He's raw. Remember, he's 19, 20.
Yeah,
And,
we can refine this guy.
oh, they do.
I'm sure that's what the Colt 45's pitching staff was saying.
Sure. And he has a wife early on, Bernice, and she's with him through his minor league journey into, I think it's Cocoa, Florida, the next year, where they welcome their first child into the world, a daughter. And that year, everything clicked for Wilson. That season, he put up elite numbers in 1965 for the Cocoa Astros, a 1.44 ERA over 181 innings pitched.
Okay, so bigger sample size, better numbers.
Yeah, and his whip is under 1. Like, he stops walking guys.
Yeah. Okay. So he's figured it out.
Yeah, and, that kind of a season all of a sudden gets major league attention, as you could guess, right?
Of course, yeah.
Suddenly, Wilson had the attention of the big league club and seemed like he might be on the fast track to the big leagues. He would be there soon enough, as he performed just as well the next year in Double-A, playing for the Amarillo Sonics of the Texas League. He put up a 2.21 ERA in 29 starts, which included 8 complete games and 6 shutouts, while striking out more than a batter per inning. He was named the Texas League All-Star Team and was also Pitcher of the Year. And they earned a berth in the he earned a berth on the Class AA All West squad. So he's the best pitcher in the league. He's an all-star. He's on the All Western AA team, whatever that means. And Houston finally gives him a call after their season's over, and he joins the big league club in September.
Okay.
So he makes his debut against Cincinnati on September 29th. He comes in relief of Bob Bruce, and he gives the Astros 6 innings of 2-run ball with 7 strikeouts, earning his first MLB win. And let me tell you, Cincinnati, the Reds, it just keeps coming. He fucking hates Cincinnati. It's so amazing that his first game.
Why does he hate Cincinnati?
I mean, we'll get into it a little bit. It just seemed that the two clubs really hated each other, and he was an angry pitcher. Like, he was a Bob Gibson-esque kind of, the more mad he got, the better he could pitch. And he fucking hated Cincinnati. So when I highlight some of his best games, you're going to hear Cincinnati a lot.
Okay. I guess it makes sense. Would they have? I mean, and I know that Houston was a National League team at the time.
Yeah.
So they were in the same division, I guess.
Yeah. They're very much. They're both in the NL West, I believe. And even if they're not, they seem to just have a heated rivalry through these years. And, I'm talking 1965, right, when he makes his debut. So he is, No, was it 1965 or was it 1966? I should look that up. But either way, it's right around there. He impresses enough in September that the following spring that he earns a spot in Houston's starting rotation. They're now known as the Astros as we know them today. And the Astros had only been in the league for 5 seasons and were thinned out on their staff due to Mike Kuehler. They were thin on their pitching staff outside of Mike Kuehler and teenage pitching phenom Larry Dierker. The team was not good. And 1967, so I guess he made his debut in 66. 1967. I saw you looking it up.
Yeah.
And 1967 would be no different with Wilson, but Wilson did give Houston fans something to cheer about. So he starts the year up and down. He beat Cincinnati in his debut.
Of course.
And then he gets shelled in his next appearance, also against Cincinnati. Now he doesn't even record an out in that game. But finally he finds some consistency and performed well through the team, though the team started 10-25 that year.
Okay.
Houston, part of the reason why nobody knows about Don Wilson is Houston sucks, right?
I was gonna say, like Houston, I don't really know much about like the entire body of work of the Houston Astros in their early days, but I I don't like, when did the Astros start getting good? The 80s?
I feel like it was the 90s, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Like, I feel like it really wasn't until, Biggio and oh God,
Bagwell?
the Bagwell. I knew it was another B. It wasn't until those guys, Oswald, it really feels like they were irrelevant for 3 decades
Okay.
before. But yeah, they start out 10-25. They suck. Impressively, even with that team behind him, Wilson's record in that 10-25 was 3-3, with after a complete game 13 strikeout victory against the Giants on June 14th. But his next start would be historic. June 18th, 1967, against the Atlanta Braves, Wilson's childhood idol, Hank Aaron, came into town. So, through 8 2/3 innings, Wilson had put up 14 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 0 hits. And the last batter he has to face to get the no-hitter is Hank Aaron.
Okay.
Don Wilson throws his hero a seat. He beats him with a 3-2 fastball to record his 15th strikeout and a no-hitter in his rookie season in front of 19,199 fans at the Astrodome.
Okay, that's awesome. I assume that was the first no-hitter in Astros history.
It was not. I looked it up.
It was not.
The third.
Wow.
It was the third.
Wow.
Yeah. It was the first at the Astrodome, which was the first, I think it was the first no-hitter on a artificial playing surface.
Okay.
In a dome, or definitely in a dome stadium.
Yeah. Okay. Tons of facts.
Dude, I wrote that it was the first no-hitter in Astros history, and then I was like, I should check that.
You should check that, yeah.
And I was wrong. It was the third. I think there was one in 63 and 64, I believe, that was the second. But, yeah, it's a young franchise, but somehow they threw no-hitters. Hank Aaron tipped his cap to the young pitcher, telling the press after the game, and I quote, "It's a young guy like that makes me want to retire."
That's high praise, I guess. He played for like another 10 years, didn't he?
I know, that was what I was thinking. I'm like, dude played till like 75.
Yeah.
Wilson said he didn't do anything differently that day, but remembered one thing. And I quote, "Oh, yes, there was one thing. My wife, Bernice, didn't cook breakfast for me. She wasn't feeling well. When asked if she'd be excused from cooking breakfast before all of his starts, he said, and I quote, 'I'll try it one more time and see what happens.'"
Okay.
Yeah. The Houston owner, Roy Hofheinz, tore up Wilson's contract and rewrote his contract in the locker room, giving him a $1,000 raise.
All right. That's probably that's a fair amount, but I wouldn't. I don't know if that's like being a good general manager nowadays.
Yeah, well, he's the owner. He's not even the GM.
Oh,
he's
the owner.
Yeah, I mean that's like $12,000, but like the guy was probably in modern money was probably making, 60 or 70. So it's a fair bump, but yeah. Moving on. He throws a no-hitter. He continues to deal throughout the year. He puts up 29 scoreless innings from July 9th to July 26th. Mets skipper Westrom declared, and I quote, "Wilson has one of the best arms I've ever seen." And according to Mets outfielder Ron Swoboda, the Astros rookie was throwing and I quote, like teeny weeny aspirins at the plate.
All right, it's very poetic.
Very. So he's got a good fastball. Once again, he's a big righty, lanky. He's got a fastball slider combo that he just is doing well. He managed a winning record even on a crappy team, 10-9, sure. Pitching pitching. His team only won 69 games, but he gets a 10-9 record. He puts up a 2.79 ERA in 184 innings as a rookie. It's really good.
Yeah, amazing numbers for playing on such a dismal team.
Yeah,
and the win-loss record is, we know today is really neither here nor there.
Yeah, but
anyway,
I'm more impressed. I mean, some of it is luck, but I am impressed when a guy has a winning record on a shitty team. I know it's luck, and I know it's not.
That's true. I feel like we've talked about this before. It does mean more when the team is terrible.
It does. It means that you gave your team a chance to win more than they gave themselves a chance to win, or more than anybody else could.
Yeah.
And once again, I'm very aware some of that is luck. Very aware. He returns, and his sophomore season is a little bit more underwhelming, counting stats. He goes 13-16 with a 3.28 ERA over 208 innings pitched. But he definitely had some bad luck this time around on the flip side of things. His FIP, which is, what pitchers more or less can control, is an impressive 2.33. So his FIP is basically a run below what his actual ERA was. And on July 14th, Wilson set a personal best, striking out 18 goddamn Cincinnati Reds in the doubleheader at Crossley Field, becoming the third pitcher in history to strike out that many batters in a 9-inning game.
Okay. This was a record at the time?
Well, he was the third pitcher ever to do that.
Yes. But no one had done more than that at the time? Do we know that?
I think you're correct in that. I don't think that. Obviously, Roger Clemens sets the 20, and then Kerry Wood does the same.
Yes.
But 18 strikeouts. Like I'm not going to dig too hard into this, but that's historic for especially a sophomore pitcher. Like this dude's less than in 2 years in the league. He's got a no-hitter in an 18 strikeout game.
Mm-hmm.
He's good.
Yeah.
1969, he's the Astros opening day starter, and soon after, he continued his storied career against the Reds. Reds pitcher John Mulaney. I was going to say John Mulaney. Jim Maloney, not famous comedian John Mulaney. Jim Maloney, despite a painful groin strain handicapping his talent, he no-hits the Astros on April 30th. And the Reds and their fans added insult to injury by heckling the lowly Astros during the no-no that they were on the other end of.
Which I'm sure just slid off the back of Don Wilson.
He is fucking mad, Edsy.
Okay.
He shows up to Crossley Field the next day with revenge on his mind. And he was pitching like it. He walks 6, but the Reds get nothing else. And he posts his second no-hitter in his 64th big league start.
Wow.
Yeah. He must have thrown 1,000 pitches that day. I couldn't find it. But he struck out 13 as well as walking 6. So
what was the date on that?
It was, trust me, I looked up the game log.
Oh, okay. Well,
I believe it was May 1st. It was the day after April 30th. So May 1st, 1969. I looked it up, couldn't find it. Didn't think it mattered that much. I like the mystery. It was the second time in Major League history that 2 teams exchanged no-hitters in successive days.
That'd be two boring days for the fans.
Honestly, it would be.
I guess. It's always exciting to see a no-hitter, but if you're looking for action,
Yeah.
Those are two
I mean,
gut days.
you're the only one of us that has been in the stands for a no-hitter. So, you tell me. But I'm sure that was exciting, but only in the last couple innings.
It was exciting. It was a game that God bless James Paxton for getting me out of that horrible date faster than than normally would be expected.
Yep. So, okay. Love it. I'm going to move on from there
Yeah.
and talk about this no-hitter a little bit more. Wilson told the press, and I quote, "There's a couple of times my legs were shaking so much that I had to step off the mound. I never wanted anything so bad in my life as to pitch that no-hitter." He's, once again, hates the Reds.
Yeah.
He was clearly driven by spite, and he proclaimed after the game, and I quote, "They don't like me. I don't like them. I wanted to pay them back for what they did to us. They beat me 14-0. They stuck their tongues out at us. They laughed at us. They got some good guys on the field, friends of mine off the field, but they've got some other guys too."
Okay.
Yeah. Houston
he
skipper
he is driven, and we'll tell you about it.
Houston skipper Harry Walker put it best, and I quote, "One man just overpowered 9 men. Like he just destroyed them that day. Like they couldn't hit anything he threw."
Yeah.
When asked what he would say to his wife, who was very pregnant with their second child, Don said, and I quote, "Don't get excited and have the baby now." His wife Bernice would later say, and I quote, "I thought I was going to have it when catcher Don Bryant dropped the pop foul in the 8th inning."
Oh my God. Question though, did she make him breakfast?
Oh, that is we can't find the answer to that question,
Okay.
sadly. But no, breakfast was not raised during the second one. I don't know why.
I mean, she was pregnant, so possibly uncomfortable. So there's a chance.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And they had a like a 3-year-old running around too. That I wouldn't. And I'd be like, make your own damn breakfast, Don.
Yeah.
So,
Imagine the 3-year-old got breakfast, but I can't speak
Sure.
for Don. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, so he gets another raise after this game, and
Did his
so does
contract
catcher.
get ripped up this time?
Exactly. They're like, but this time his catcher does as well. Who, even though he apparently dropped a pop fly foul that almost made his wife have a premature baby. But despite the success, Wilson was still a black man in 1960s pitching in the South. Wilson and his teammate Kurt Blefari became a big story. They were ridiculed by several major league players and fans because it was found out that they shared a hotel room while on the road.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What?
Blefari was white.
I think
Wilson was black.
it's Blefary.
Blefari, sorry. Blefari, Blefari. I'll go with yours. I'm sorry,
Kurt.
Mr. Kurt, I'll just call him Kurt. But yeah, Kurt was white, Wilson was black. Obviously, the color barrier had been broken more than 20 years earlier, but it was not cool with some people that a white man and a black man were sharing a room for some stupid reason.
See, the weird thing is that hadn't even occurred to me.
No. So, Kurt defended his friend and teammate to the press, saying, and I quote, "They said they couldn't believe I was rooming with a colored guy. I told them to go to hell."
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Wilson receives hate mail for this. Like, I'm sure Kurt might have got some, but Wilson gets a majority of it. Wilson said, and I quote, "It's just hard for them to get it through their heads that we are two human beings trying to make a living in the same game."
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah. He throws 225 innings pitched that year. Once again, the Astros sucked. Wilson had a higher ERA again, but once again, a much lower FIP. And if you look at Baseball Reference WAR, which uses ERA, his WAR was just 0.8. But if you use Fangraph's WAR, which uses FIP instead of ERA, he was actually worth 4.4 WAR. So there's like difference between replacement player and borderline all-star.
Yeah.
The year was not a total bust, though, because his wife did give birth to their second child, a little boy this time.
That's nice.
Yeah. Wilson started hurt in 1970 with tendonitis in his right elbow, but he continued to be Don Wilson despite not having his best stuff. His strikeout rate like plummets. Definitely his elbow fucked with him that year. He still put up a winning record on a bad team, 16-12 on a team that won 79 games. They're getting better, but they're still really mediocre. And then 1971, Wilson has his best season, becoming an all-star at the age of 26. He puts up a 6.1 Baseball Reference WAR and saw his strikeout rate jump back to normal. Normal for him is more than a guy per inning.
Right.
He pitches 268 innings with 18 complete games, 2.45 ERA, and a WHIP a sliver over 1. So just
holy shit.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's half his games he's throwing the whole game and allowing like 2 runs and less than a batter per inning, or about a batter per inning, and striking out everybody. Needless to say, he's the most valuable player for the Astros in 1971, who once again finished below 500. His coach, Harry Walker, said to the press that offseason, and I quote, "Last year, I thought Wilson was one of the best pitchers in the league. The next 5 or 6 years will be his best in baseball."
Okay. I don't like where this is going.
Yeah. I mean,
the implication is that it's going to go very well, but I know it's not.
It's not. You know, he is one of the best in baseball still, but the timeline, let's just say, is
slightly askew.
Yeah.
Okay.
In 1972, the Astros actually put up their first winning record, I believe. I've double-checked that, but now I'm having doubts. Anyways, they won 84 games. Still not that great. They finished third. Wilson, though, was not as good, but put up a solid year, 15-10 record, while racking up double-digit Ks in 4 of his 33 starts, 13 complete games in there as well. Despite having an actual winning record, the Astros had brought in a new manager, Leo DeRocher, in late August. And it doesn't sound...
Leo is still kicking at this point.
Yeah, I was like, how is Leo DeRocher showing up in the 1970s? I think this was one of his last, I didn't look it up, but I think it was one of his last goes. And him and Wilson do not get along at all. And Wilson earns a $300 fine from DeRocher after he called his manager a name on the team bus at Houston International Airport on July 27th, 1973. And okay. I'm sure Leo was more not looking at his FIP or Ks per 9, because Wilson goes 11-16 in 1973. His strikeouts do tumble as well. His walk rate rises. It's not his best year, but he still has respectable numbers with a 3.20 ERA and 10 complete games. And he even gets 2 saves as they used him in relief towards the end of the year. I think their season was basically done, and they were like, we'll just give you a little bit of a rest for next season.
Yeah.
And 1974, Wilson is now 29 years old, and he puts up similar numbers. It sounds like his arm was starting to suffer a bit. Mm-hmm. And he develops a changeup and starts being a little bit more of a finesse contact pitcher, which, he has success. Like he's not a bad pitcher by any means, even with his strikeout rate going down. But 1974 would be his last year in baseball. And Edsy, he almost does it again.
Almost does.
September 4th, Don Wilson goes for his third no-hitter.
Okay. I was going to ask you, does what again? But now that makes perfect sense.
Guess who they're playing?
Oh, I know they're playing the Reds.
You didn't even need to say it.
No.
Going into the fifth, Wilson started the fifth by walking two of the first three Red batters. The Reds then bunted to put two men in scoring position for Pete Rose. Wilson got Rose to hit a ground ball to the shortstop, but the shortstop booted it, and despite not giving up a hit, the Astros were now trailing 2-0.
Okay.
In the bottom of the eighth, the Astros were down 2-1, and Wilson was coming up to the plate. The manager looks at him and says, "Take a seat. We got to get a run here." And Wilson is pinch hit for.
Okay. And that's it?
The Astros don't score a run, and boos rain down from the Astrodome fans as Mike Cosgrove comes out to take the mound in the ninth. So,
I mean, I would be booing too.
I know, but it's the right move by the manager.
100%. 100%. But
yeah. Cosgrove gets them to go 3 up, 3 down, but then the Stros don't score a run, and it's a losing combined no-hitter. But even still, it's a combined no-hitter, as we know, is treated a lot differently than a single no-hitter.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was actually thinking about this the other day. It's funny that you mention a losing no-hitter because last week or something, not to stay too topical, but the Portland Sea Dogs threw a combined no-hitter in Double-A.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they won 3-2.
Oh, God, yeah.
But I was thinking to myself, I was like, imagine if Portland didn't score those 3 runs. They would have lost the no-hitter. And I'm sure that, I was certain that had happened at some point in history. But anyway, synchronicities, you're telling me about one right now.
Well, and another reason why pitchers shouldn't hit.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, and Wilson is pissed. He's pissed. His wife was more pissed than him. His wife was furious. But he's pissed about being taken out of the game. He sits in the trainer's office, apparently drinking some beers, before he gets up and finally goes out and talks to the press about his almost no-hitter. And to his credit, he says all of the right things. And I quote, "I respect Preston Gomez as a manager. I respect him more than ever. He wants to win, and I want to win as much as he does. When people start putting personal goals ahead of the team, you'll never have a winner. I understand how Preston feels." So,
well, that's 100% the right thing to say in that situation. But you can be pissed as well.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he's a team guy. I think he was competitive. He wanted to win. He understood it, but at the same point, it's tough. Not many people have thrown 3 no-hitters. It's a very small group. I probably should have looked it up, but it's a very small group.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get to do it. 3.5 weeks later, Don Wilson pitched his last game in Major League Baseball. I'm glad to say it was a 2-hit complete game shutout against the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta, and it was called, and I quote, "probably the best swan song pitching performance ever by former Hall of Fame Library Senior Research Associate Bill Dean." Okay. So, going into that offseason, nothing is out of the sorts, and ABC TV actually contacted Wilson during his winter break and asked him to be a judge on a television sports show called The Superstars. The show involved female athletes from every sport, or a lot of different sports, competing against one another. It seems simple, right?
Yeah, I guess.
It's not.
Okay.
It didn't go well. The show was filmed at the Astrodome. Part of the reason why they got Don Wilson. It's in Houston, and the event was very poorly attended, with 4,000 spectators who preferred to mock the women's sport competition rather than cheer for them. Which,
Oh.
like, yeah, and like,
Oh, boo.
yeah. Why would they show up to boo?
Yeah.
Playing their second big hit. Yeah, Simpsons joke.
Yeah.
The Chicago Tribune's Marilyn Preston called the event, and I quote, "the worst exploitation of women yet."
That's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, and Wilson gets into like an argument with like Billie Jean King and one of the ABC hosts because he's a judge, and like somebody faulted and stepped over a line, and he didn't call it, but then it was reviewed, and then they were like, "Why didn't you call it?" And he's like, "I don't know, like I'm just trying to be nice." And they were like, "Well, you're not taking this seriously?" And he's like, "I don't need this. Like I don't need this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a major league pitcher. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know anything about tennis.
Yeah, I'm just so. I mean, we're laughing, but what happens next is not a laughing matter. It has nothing to do with this ABC show. January 5th, Don Wilson's wife said she is woken in the middle of the night by the car in the garage below. She goes to check on the kids, who sounded like they were crying in their sleep. And she finds her daughter like whimpering and sweating a bit, and she tells the New York Times she wipes her children's face with a cool cloth. And on the flip side, like her son feels cold, so she brings him into the master bedroom. She tries to go back to sleep, but couldn't, and she doesn't know where Don is, so she goes to investigate. And when she walks into the garage, Don Wilson is in the car, which is running, and there's no pulse. So she calls a friend, and then she hangs up and she calls 911. Well, she calls a friend for help.
Good.
She's not just like, hey.
Good God.
Paramedics arrive. Bernice answers the door. And the paramedics immediately notice the left side of Bernice's face is swollen and bruised. And, you know, the paramedics kind of split up, and they go to the garage, and then a few rush upstairs for the children. And moments later, they told Bernice that they're taking her daughter to the hospital. Her husband, Don Wilson, ace pitcher, is dead. And even worse, their 5-year-old son is also dead.
Oh, my God. Thank you for waiting to tell me this story.
Yeah, you know, just a little. Yeah. So they are Denise and her daughter are rushed to the hospital.
Bernice.
Bernice, sorry. Bernice is the mom. Denise is the daughter. I didn't really use the kids' names. But
I see. Okay.
I messed up and put Denise instead of Bernice. But she is in shock and has an injured left jaw. Denise is in a coma and is transferred to the Children's Hospital in critical condition. They are all suffering from CO2 poisoning.
Oh, my God.
So
Because the CO2 from, or CO,
the car
it leaked into the house, obviously.
The garage seemed to be right below the bedrooms where everybody was sleeping.
Okay.
Yeah, and I believe there are standards nowadays that don't allow this to happen, or if they shouldn't. But this is what happened. And the police investigate. They find the Astros ace was reclined in the passenger seat of his Ford Thunderbolt, his ankles crossed in front of him, his hands on his lap, with an open pack of cigarettes on the dash. The tragedy was front page news in Houston and across the sports world. And everybody's asking questions because there's no answers at first. Was Don Wilson's death a suicide or just a tragic accident? So his blood alcohol is ridiculous. Like, I mean, it's 0.167. So, you know, I also learned that Texas drinking levels back then was 0.10, which is crazy.
That is crazy talk.
Yeah. In Canada, it's like 0.05. Like literally
Yeah.
back in Texas, you could have like 5 beers and drive.
Yeah.
But he is drunk to the point of hammered, but he also has, he died from CO2, not from being drunk. But like, had he gotten drunk, drove himself home, and passed out before shutting off the engine, accidentally killing himself and his son,
I mean,
did he get
if he was in the passenger seat, I would think not. But
maybe? But he could have been exiting out that and just kind of found a comfy spot.
I guess
Like
they probably did have bench seats back then.
yeah, I mean, it was a Thunderbird.
Yeah.
Or did he get wasted and decide to kill himself in the garage? Or, as you've kind of mentioned, did he pass out when he was the passenger and the driver got out and left the vehicle running, killing him?
I mean, that's possible. That wasn't really what I was trying to implicate, but I guess that's a possible scenario.
There's many questions, and with no answers, obviously the media starts asking such questions.
Yeah.
Those closest to Don did not think his death was purposeful, with many giving quotes that he was in a good place in his life. But we hear that all the time, and depression's a bitch, and
Yeah. And often invisible.
100%. And once again, if you are suffering from any kind of depression or feeling thoughts of suicide, please reach out to friends, reach out to somebody who can help you, because there is help, and it's easy to get if you ask. Well, I shouldn't say it's easy, but there is help if you ask. So I'm going to put that out there. Astros publicity director Bob Reisinger said, and I quote, "He was really enthused about the upcoming season. We were looking over some of his statistics from last year, and he said he thought he could win 20 games. That meant a lot to Don, to win 20 games." Astros third baseman Doug Rader said, and I quote, "The most heartbreaking thing to me, the shame of it all, is that he had overcome his bitterness, and he was now again the man he used to be. The one I knew at first. I've heard all the crazy things, rumors about how Don Wilson died. I don't care what anyone says. I never will believe he killed himself. He loved life too much. His death simply had to be an accident. I'd stake my life on that." And the police at first are, kind of like, it looks like an accident, but a police homicide spokesperson said, and I quote, "Details on the deaths are still sketchy, but the preliminary investigation indicates the deaths are accidental. That is all we know. An autopsy has been ordered. Perhaps more on the death and Miss Wilson's injury can be released tomorrow." So the police and the medical examiner, a day later, basically they say that they're unable to rule the death an accident so far because there's still unanswered questions. And there's no doubt he'd been in the car for a long, long time. Like this, it sounds like the wake up and stuff like that took place like late the next morning, even early afternoon.
Yeah.
But the gas had run out in the car and the battery had died. So just how long he was there, how he ended up there, and of course the question as well is like what happened to his wife's jaw, which is like, I think it's important, but I also think it could be something so minuscule that like people get hooked on it. Like the police are asking everyone, like, did he beat his wife? Was there domestic abuse in this relationship? Like all of these things. And they can't find anything to prove any of that.
Yeah.
Bernice's story slightly changed, although like when they first interview her, she is suffering from carbon monoxide poisoning. So
yeah, on top of being distraught at the death of her husband and her son, and the poisoning of her daughter.
Yeah. So her face is bruised. Without a definitive answer, people start filling in the blanks. Did she do something to him after he hit her, or did she like simply injure herself, or like she could have fallen down because she didn't have oxygen in her blood, and who knows, right? The bigger question is, she did suffer the effects of it, but like her children and Dawn, well, not both of her children, thank God, but like, she seemed to get not zero effects, but very lighter effects. And like maybe she had a window open near her, but somehow, she was spared the worst of it that night, even though she was definitely treated for carbon monoxide gas inhalation. Mm-hmm. Detective Larry Ott said, and I quote, "We're not pointing the finger at anyone. We just want to tie up loose ends, clear up some unanswered questions and some inconsistencies." She told the attending physician, the doctor at first, she had no idea how she'd suffered her injury. Once again, she's poisoned.
Yeah.
Then she said she might have been struck. Finally, she claimed she had fallen against a wall a few days earlier. Either way, she's heavily sedated, in shock. And then finally, like a physician checks it, and they say like the swollen jaw is from an infected salivary gland in her jaw and ear. So it could have nothing to do with any of it.
That.
Yeah, 100%. So there's no answers there. And happily, Wilson's daughter, Denise, she comes out of her coma. She suffered some brain damage from the carbon monoxide, but would not. And yeah, she's not able to attend the funerals of her father and little brother. The memorial services were held for Don and his son on January 9th in Houston. Then the funeral was held in Los Angeles the next day. Don Wilson and his son were buried in Forest Lawn Memorial Parks in Covina Hills, California. Police continued to ask questions surrounding the deaths. When detectives attempted to interview Bernice once again on January 14th, she informed them that she had retained an attorney and she would not answer any questions without her lawyer present, which, anytime somebody does that, your immediate reaction is, well, that's suspicious, but she is a black woman in Texas. Yeah. I would not want to be interviewed by the police either without an attorney present, especially if they're going to try to use my word against me when I was poisoned.
Yeah.
So.
Probably a good move.
Yeah. 3 weeks later, February 5th, 1975, the deaths are officially ruled an accident. Homicide detective Larry Ott said, and I quote, "I found no evidence during the investigation that would indicate murder, and certainly no evidence that would indicate suicide." He also said that Bernice was now claiming amnesia for that Saturday and Sunday evening, January 4th, for the events early Sunday leading up to the time that the bodies were found. And to Larry, I say, once again, she was poisoned.
Yeah.
So once again, it sounds like they really wanted any reason, but they couldn't pin it on her, and I don't think there's a reason they should have.
Yeah.
It's an accident, and that's what it was. At least that's what the evidence says. And in 1975, Wilson's number 40 was retired by the Houston Astros, and the team wore black patches on their left sleeve in a tribute to their fallen teammate. A special plaque displaying a photo of Don Wilson and his retired number is currently on display on the Astros Wall of Honor at Houston's home park, which I wanted to call Minute Maid Park, but it's like Dyken Field or whatever it's called now. I don't know. Stop changing your names. Had Wilson not died at 29 years old and pitched into his 30s, who knows what his career would have looked like. In 8 full seasons in the MLB, Don Wilson pitched to a 3.15 ERA in 266 games, most of which were starts. In those starts, he pitched 20 shutouts and 2 no-hitters. It could have been 3 no-hitters had he just got a little run support.
Wow, what a career.
Yeah, and that is the story of tragic, a great career followed by a tragic death.
Yeah. Well, that is quite a forkball, Sean. Like that.
You didn't see that.
I didn't see that coming at all. I mean, we had kind of talked about, you'd hinted that this would be somewhat of a dark episode,
Yeah.
but it I didn't expect it to be so abrupt, and that is a terribly tragic end to a great life and a great career. But but yeah, thanks for waiting a little bit to tell me that story, and thanks for telling that story altogether.
Yeah. Well, go hug your son a
Yeah,
little
I'm
tighter
going
tonight.
to. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. No, I mean, we've had a lot of fun ones so far this year with, I mean, not necessarily all goofy stories, but I figured we needed a tragedy kind of worked in, and yeah, I mean, after doing Boots Poffenberger, I figured I could go from silly to tragic, and I'm probably going back to silly for the next one, to tell you the
Yeah,
truth.
might be a good idea. Yeah. But you gotta, as with statistics in baseball, you gotta average things out. You gotta balance the law of averages. So I, I'm
100%.
I'm not surprised, and I'm
No.
very happy to. It's a weird thing to say, but I'm happy to hear this tragic story.
Well, he was a great pitcher. Like I don't know. It's just obviously he was pitching 15 years before we were born, but you know, you think about the Sandy Koufax and the Bob Gibsons of his time, and they were clearly the better pitchers. But he was in that tier just below them, kind of thing, right? Like
Hmm.
if he has another 8 years and puts up the same numbers, I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer, but he's at least getting some votes.
Yeah, no, for sure. And to circle back to what you were sort of just touching upon there, and what we kind of left unanswered earlier in the episode, there are 6 pitchers in MLB
Yeah,
history with 3+ no hitters.
yeah,
And they are Nolan Ryan with 7, Sandy Koufax with 4, Larry
yeah,
Corcoran with 3, Cy
yeah,
Young with 3, Bob Feller with 3, and Justin Verlander with 3.
yeah. So like five. I don't know about Bob Corkerer, but I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame. But
I'm not
five
sure.
Hall
He
of
pitched
Famers.
he pitched in the 1880s, so he very well
Yeah,
could be.
he very well could be. But yeah, no, but that is the quality of pitcher. Like he was up there. Like, and I don't think he had the longevity. Not that Koufax had a long career, but if he had put up another 8 years and did what he did, I think we would have known who Don Wilson was.
Hmm.
So, anyways, that's my story, and we'll be back in a couple weeks with another story from baseball history, hopefully without a child death.
I'll
And
try
until
my
then,
best. I'll try my best.
it's okay if you do. If you
Yeah,
do, it's completely fair.
yeah.
Until then, where can people find us?
People can find us on the internet or the World Wide Web at Doing Baseball or at Doing.baseball. Chime in some conversation. Give us some feedback. Give us a story idea. We'd love to hear from you. And yeah, thank you for listening. Give us a rating. Give us a review. Wherever you're listening, thank you for listening. And yeah, until next time,
I'm Sean,
I'm Eds.
and we were doing the baseball.
Okay. Bye.